In the deep-sea kingdom of Atlantis, a scene of prosperity and peace rippled across the shimmering waters. However, the shadow of disaster was quietly approaching. One morning, Aquaman, Arthur Curry, was patrolling the borders of Atlantis with Queen Mera. Suddenly, their guardians raised an alarm. An unfamiliar fleet of invaders was approaching from the distant abyss. These ships emitted an eerie purple glow, a stark contrast to the harmony of Atlantis. Scouts reported that the invaders belonged to a new species known as the Abyss Raiders, and their target was Atlantis's energy core. Arthur immediately convened the Council of Elders and his military leaders to devise a defense plan. The kingdom's barriers were activated, but the enemy's technology surpassed expectations. They broke through the outer defenses at lightning speed, advancing toward the central city. Arthur knew this battle could not be lost. If the energy core fell into enemy hands, not only would the kingdom be destroyed, but the entire ocean's ecosystem would suffer irreversible damage. Arthur led his elite forces into battle, wielding his trident and riding his loyal steed, the Storm Seahorse. He charged into the fray. The battle was brutal, with Abyss Raider warriors wielding blades that could slice through water and weapons firing energy pulses. Despite their efforts, the Atlantean soldiers struggled to hold their ground. During a charge, Arthur faced an enemy commander. This warrior was massive, covered in scales, and exuded an aura of cold, malevolent power. The weapon was a colossal double-headed spear, each swing creating underwater shockwaves. The two clashed fiercely, but Arthur was injured in a powerful strike, his blood staining the surrounding water. Queen Mera, witnessing the scene, used her hydrokinesis to shield Arthur from further attacks. However, the situation remained dire. The enemy forces were relentless, and the Atlantean troops were being overwhelmed. At that moment, Arthur recalled an ancient kingdom technique, the power to summon primordial sea creatures. He knew it was a risky decision, but had no choice. He summoned Leviathan, a legendary sea beast. The creature emerged from the abyss, its massive body towering like a mountain, and its roar shaking the entire seabed. Leviathan's arrival turned the tide of battle. It destroyed enemy ships and tore the raiders' forces apart. Meanwhile, Arthur regained his strength and, alongside Mera, launched a counterattack. Together, they cornered the enemy commander. After a fierce duel, Arthur pierced the commander's armor with his trident, defeating him completely. With their leader gone, the invaders fell into chaos. The Atlantean soldiers seized the opportunity to drive the remaining enemies out of the kingdom. The war was over, but the entire kingdom was left scarred by the conflict. Arthur, bearing his wounds, returned to the palace. Though his figure appeared weary, his eyes still gleamed with determination. He promised his people that Atlantis would emerge stronger, rebuild their home, and prevent such disasters from happening again. Subsequent celebration, the people of Atlantis gathered to cheer for their victory. Arthur understood that this was not just a crisis, but also a test of his responsibility and capability as King of Atlantis. He knew that the path ahead remained uncertain, but as long as he and his people stood united, Atlantis would continue to shine brightly in the depths of the ocean. From that day forward, this event was etched into the annals of Atlantis, a day of both glory and caution for all future generations to remember.